He's used to fighting 10, 12 rounds. So if anything's different, it's going to be different for Tomas. I just heard that it could be fame. But I don't know anything about it. I really, and I don't want to know anything about it. I just.
Gosia Brzezińska dla kanału Koloseum Super Expressu. And here with me, Gus Curren, Adamek's coach. Dzień dobry.
Dzień dobry, dzień dobry.
It's really nice to meet you. And at first, I'd like to ask you about your first reaction for Adamek's opponent, Mamed Khalidov, legend of Polish and not only Polish MMA.
You know, when I found out who his opponent was going to be, Mamed Khalidov, I was happy because he's the equivalent of Adamek, only in his field of MMA. But when I mean his equivalent, he's a tough guy, has a lot of heart, a lot of courage, and Tomas leaves it all in the ring, and he leaves it all in the cage. So it's going to be a great fight.
Mm-hmm. And how long have you been working with Tomaszem Adamkiem overall? And how do you assess his preparation for this fight, for this Saturday?
I started working with Tomas in 2017. Our first fight together was against Solomon Hamano. Next fight was Kasi, then we fought Julia Bell, and then Jarrell Miller. So since 2017. Your next question was?
How do you assess his preparation for Saturday?
I actually believe this has been our best camp. I really do. He's ready, he's strong, and it's surprising. You know, at the age of 47, I shouldn't be shocked because I know what he's made of, but all these years later, this is actually our best camp yet.
We, of course, know that he's undisputed champion, but what is the hardest thing about working with him?
There's not listening to his nonstop all the time. No, nothing is hard. It's a lot of fun. We work great together. It's all about balance, and Tomas and I both know how to balance. He's a champ, and fortunately, I know how to work with guys like him, and we have fun when we're supposed to have fun, but we're laser focused when we're supposed to be. And right now we're there. We're laser focused. He's ready to go. And there's, like I said, dealing with his nonstop talking, but for 7-8 weeks at a time. But no, we love it. I love it.
I think our audience needs to know if he's as fast as he's talking in every interview. He's talking that he's the fastest in his career.
It's shocking. Like I said earlier, it's shocking because all these years later, he's actually, this is our best camp. I don't know if he's faster than he was before, but he's not slower. His like I said, his speed is there. I'm a big advocate of timing combinations, timing the defense, timing the punches, but his speed is there and his timing is there. And like I said, just a great camp. And at 47 years old, it's really hard to believe that he's looking this good.
Mm-hmm. He's looking really good, as you said, but many people emphasize his age before this fight. And I'm just wondering, how old does he look at the trainings for you?
Like he's 18 years old. Really, he doesn't look good for a 47-year-old. He looks good for a fighter. I mean, he really looks sharp. Really looks sharp, and I'm shocked. But I wouldn't be here if he wasn't. You know, again, going back to 2017, when I first started training him, I didn't know him. I mean, I knew who he was, but I didn't know if we would work well together. I said, Tomas, come to Vero or fly me to New Jersey. If we don't get along, then we save a trip to Poland. But it's the same now, all these years later. If I didn't think he had it, I wouldn't be here.
I want you to tell something about his form before the last fight in 2018 and compare this to the current one.
2018, well, I'll say it again. This has been our best camp. Whether it was for any of the fights, this has been our best camp yet. There's a lot of things different between this camp and the last camp. I mean, he had a guy who went in, who was using illegal, steroids. Mm-hmm. It played a big part in it, and I don't really like to talk on that because Tomas doesn't talk on that. He doesn't make, and I'm not making excuses either. It just wasn't his night. But what matters is Saturday night, February 24th, will be his night.
For sure, this will be a unique event, and so many people are waiting for that. But did you understand the hype around this fight from the beginning, or Tomek explained that to you?
No, I really had no idea. I've been to a KSW fight in Wrocław back in 2018, and I knew they put on a big production. But it's amazing. Mm-hmm. It's amazing. Everybody in Poland is talking about it, but I know many people, they're throwing big parties in the U.S. For this fight. So it's bigger than I imagined. Mm-hmm. Yesterday at the Złote Tarasy, you couldn't move. Złote Tarasy, I don't know how to say it, but you couldn't move in there. It was packed for the press conference. So it's big.
I need to know your perspective about the biggest challenge for Mamet in this fight, because it's like a new formula. We actually don't know how he looks in boxing. So what can be the biggest challenge for him?
Again, Mamet is a very tough guy, and he didn't make it as far as he made it without having a skill set. Mm-hmm. You know, we can say that he's, maybe it's a different formula, but he's been boxing for 20 years. Mm-hmm. Okay? So the guy knows how to fight, and the guy's been in sparring with other, very good boxers. So it's going to be an exciting fight. Tomas is a boxing legend. So, but he's also fighting 6 rounds. Mm-hmm. He's used to fighting 10, 12 rounds. So if anything's different, it's going to be different for Tomas.
Can you tell us something more about the controversy with referees, kickboxing and boxing referees in this fight? How things are going?
If it was up to me, we'd have no referees. So I don't like to put blame on referees or any of that stuff, because, fighters should go in there and fight, and do what they have to do, and shouldn't have to worry about who's refereeing or what kind of referee it is, or did the referee make a bad call. I'm an Emmanuel Stewart kind of a guy, where if you go in and do what you do, the world knows who won that fight, and it doesn't matter what the referee can do.
And we already know that Tomek will fight this year, probably, in Polish freak fights. What do you know exactly about Polish freak fights and Fame Federation, where we can see him?
Yeah, I hear stuff, but I look at one fight at a time. Talk is talk. Talk is talk, and if whatever happens is going to happen, but my only focus is Saturday night. That's it.
Did you hear something about his opponent for the future, for the fights in Fame?
I just heard that it could be Fame. But I don't know anything about it. I really, and I don't want to know anything about it. My focus has been on Khalidov. That's it.
Okay, so first Saturday, this fight with Mamet, and what after that? Are you coming back to US?
Go back to the U.S. and then we'll worry about what's next. But right now, get the fight, finish that, go home, spend some time on the beach, and wait for the next call.
And how was the last training today with Tomas?
We just finished our last training. It shows you why Tomas was as successful as he's been or was, legend in boxing. The guy knows when to turn it on, like I said earlier. The timing has been perfect, laughing, joking, getting in shape, getting the timing down. But now's the time where he showed me tonight he's ready. And like I said, champions, people can make it to be champion, but certain champions are made differently, and Tomas is one of those guys. He's just a cut above.
Okay, so Tomas is ready, and we are waiting to watch this fight. Thank you so much for this interview.
Thank you.
I na koniec jeszcze chciałabym zaprosić wszystkich widzów na jutrzejsze studio, w którym będziecie mogli zobaczyć nasze rozmowy z naszymi gośćmi właśnie na kanale Koloseum. No i zobaczyć za darmo 2 pierwsze walki, a następne już na kswepik.tv. Dziękuję bardzo.